They say chess is quiet until you play the Evans Gambit. One pawn flies forward, the bishop retreats, and suddenly the entire board is on fire. This isn't a quiet positional game. This is sacrifice, attack, and mate. We already made a short on this opening, but today we'll go move by move, breaking down the thinking behind every decision. And this time, we'll do it through one of the greatest attacking games ever played. Adolf Anderssen versus Jean Dufresne, the Evergreen game. Let's dive into the Evans Gambit. Standard Italian setup, white eyes f7. Black mirrors with bc5, and a classic response from black, bc5, mirroring white's setup. Watch it closely. White's about to sacrifice a pawn, not for greed, but for pure attacking speed. The idea is simple. Chase the bishop away, gain time, and seize the center. Even if black plays it safe, white still builds a powerful attack. But if black accepts the challenge, the board opens up and the battle ignites. The Evans Gambit is accepted. Black's bishop captures the pawn, retreats, and suddenly the center opens. White's pieces surge forward, all eyes locked on f7, the weakest point on the board. The bishop retreats, the center opens, and white's army comes alive in perfect coordination. Now the d-pawn storms forward, opening the center. The c-pawn might look weak, but it's perfectly guarded by the white knight. Everything is under control. Now black's e-pawn captures in the center, trying to break white's momentum. It's an attempt to weaken the defense, since the white king sits on the same diagonal. One wrong move and that line could open fast. So instead of capturing the black pawn, the best move here for white is to castle, bringing the king to safety and connecting the rooks. The pawn could take on c3 and link up with the bishop, but that would tear the center open. Black decides to push ahead. In a game this sharp, there's no room for error. The queen slides to b3, a move of perfect coordination. She joins the attack, locking onto both f7 and b7, while also guarding the vulnerable pawn beside her. The threat is real now, and black can feel the pressure rising. The queen comes to f6, covering f7 and increasing pressure on c3 with help from the bishop. For now, the balance seems even, but white's initiative remains. The Evans Gambit is still in motion. White keeps pushing the pawn, forcing the black queen to retreat. The dark squares are no longer safe. The queen drifts toward h6, quietly linking up with the d3 pawn. It's a clever defensive move, and a little sneaky since it also eyes the same h-file where white's king sits. The rook activates on the open e-file, linking up with the rest of white's army. With every piece coordinated, the attack reaches full strength. Black senses the danger and brings the knight to e7, connecting the knights, blocking the attack, and clearing a path for castling. The bishop moves to a3, a move of pure venom. The dark square bishop joins the attack, slicing through the board and pinning down e7 and f8. Black spots the danger and pushes the b-pawn, not just to disrupt white's attack, but also to open the b-file for the rook's counterplay. The queen grabs the free pawn. But remember, in chess, free pawns are rarely truly free. The rook uses the open b-file to counterattack, hoping to interfere with white's powerful queen and bishop battery aimed at f7. The white queen calmly sidesteps to a4, staying active while keeping pressure on the board. The bishop slides to b6, adding pressure on the f2 pawn, and now the white king finds itself on the same diagonal. The knight jumps to d2, blocking the advancing black pawn, connecting both knights, protecting the bishop, and now both rooks are finally linked. Black develops the bishop to b7, placing it on the same diagonal as the queen. Together, they aim to create pressure and build counterplay against white's center and king. White advances the knight to e4, interrupting the queen's connection with the advancing pawn and adding defense to the e2 square. The black queen moves to f5, teaming up with the knight to pressure the e5 pawn. But capturing that pawn is dangerous. It could open a devastating discovered attack from the white rook lurking behind it. The bishop captures, removing the last pawn shield around the black king. The attack is now fully open. There's no turning back. And look closer. A discovered attack is brewing against the black queen if she does not move away. If the knight ever jumps to d6, it's a royal fork, hitting both the king and queen, with the bishop waiting to strike. Black moves the queen to h5, stepping out of danger. Yet white's attack doesn't slow down. The knight is poised to launch the next tactical blow. The legendary knight sacrifice, the move that defines the Evergreen game. Black captures the knight, hoping to ease the pressure, but it only fuels the fire. White immediately recaptures, placing a pawn on f6 like a spear aimed straight at the king. The dark squares begin to crumble, and Black's army is tangled and helpless. All of a sudden, the g-file is open, and Black sees a chance to counterattack. The rook slides over to h8, coordinating with the queen and pointing straight toward the white king. White rook to d1. The final attacker enters the battlefield. The net around the king is tightening fast. Black's queen captures the knight, and white can't recapture. The g2 pawn is pinned by the rook. The black queen now fixes her gaze on the f6 pawn, threatening checkmate by capture of g2 pawn on the very next move. Boom! White ignores the threat and detonates the position with a rook sacrifice on e7. The timing is flawless. This is pure chaos disguised as calculation. The rook explodes through Black's defenses, forcing the king into the open. Black captures the rook, but it's already too late. Every defender has vanished, and the king stands alone in the storm. Oh my God! This is pure cinema! The queen cuts straight through the center, sacrificing herself for the attack, capturing the pawn and dragging the king onto the battlefield. He has no choice now. The king must walk straight into danger. The black king steps forward, exposed, surrounded, and defenseless. The endgame isn't about material anymore. It's survival versus inevitability. The bishop joins the attack with perfect timing. It's a double check. Bishop and rook working in perfect harmony. There's nowhere good to run. The black king staggers backward, one step closer to his doom. Bishop to b7. Check. The king freezes. There's only one square left to escape. And now, the other bishop to e7. Check. And there it is. Checkmate. A quiet, surgical move ends one of the greatest attacks ever played. From a single pawn sacrifice, White unleashed an avalanche of tactics, coordination, sacrifice, precision. This is not just a game. It's a masterpiece. The Evans Gambit, beauty born from chaos. Subscribe to Timur's Tactics for more brilliancies, legendary games, and lessons hidden inside the classics.